If you're watching this video, I'm going to guess a few things about you. You most likely are an international student. You are trying to find an internship in the US. You are applying to a bunch of places but not really hearing anything back. And finally, most probably you are very frustrated. The reason I am guessing all of that is because that is exactly where I was. And the reason that I'm making this video is to hopefully be able to help somebody else. Initially, my approach was have a few projects on my profile for my portfolio and then use that to apply to a bunch of places. But even doing that, even having a good resume, I think, was not really helping. I went to a point where I even won a Morgan Stanley hackathon, which is kind of a big deal, but even that did not really help. So if having a good portfolio, if having a good resume, if applying to a bunch of places doesn't work, what should you do instead? The key is connections. I was just editing the video and I realized that there is one other thing. Because of all the tools that are available right now, the projects that you put on your resume don't really give a clear idea of whether or not those projects are real. As you may already know that using AI and the tools that are available at our disposal right now, with just a few lines of prompt, you can get a full stack application up and running. So even if you do say that you build this and this project, the employer or the person who gets to have a look at your resume might not really know whether or not those are real. All of this is to say just submitting your resume will not get you an interview. To get an interview, you have to be able to build connections. That's number one. Number two is be very strategic when you're applying. So yeah, let's get back to it. I am not a very well-connected person. I don't really know a lot of people who might know a lot of people. So as somebody who does not already have a lot of existing connections or who does not go to a big school, the approach that I took was trying to do my best in the spaces that I already take, in the sense that I tried to be active on campus. I tried to work closely with the departments that are already at my university. And then another thing that I did was I was trying to stay connected to alumni of my university. And there's one hidden thing that I think was very helpful is, well, it's not really hidden, it's just not very well known. There's this website called nownow.com, and if you go to that website, you will find profiles of a lot of people, different fields, different industries. But the benefit of using that site is you can filter it by location, and then you can click on anybody's profile, somebody that you think might be useful to connect with, and then you can go to the website, find the email address and reach out to them. I will give you a sample email that you could use, but when you use that site, it's very likely that you're going to get a response. And the first email that you send out could be hopefully to just ask a simple question, and if they do respond, which I think is very likely, you could go from there. First, you would ask them a question, and then if they respond, you could say, hey, I really like the work that you do, and I was hoping if it were possible for us to meet over Zoom, Google Meet, or meet in person for a cup of coffee. Even if they are not able to connect you with the employer or somebody they might know, they will still be able to give you some good advice. That has been the most important and the most helpful thing for me. I was able to connect to a few people through that website, but one of them, I'm not going to mention his name right now, but regardless, one of the people that I was able to connect with through this website was the reason why I started doing all the things that I did on campus. And that ultimately led me to an internship. So that's the first thing. You have to try to build the connections. And don't go the LinkedIn route. Don't treat it like numbers game. Don't reach out to too many people with the same copy and paste email or copy and paste message. But reach out to a few people, take the time to understand who they are, and reach out to them with specifics in your reach out message. So it could be you mentioning something and asking them something specific that they might be an expert in, or it could be something that they are already working on and you are very curious to learn about it. But that's the first step. You have to have connections. One of the things that you should definitely implement is try to be strategic with where you can apply. Try to go for companies that have already hired international students in the past. One of the things that I do is I try to go on LinkedIn and I try to find the profiles of international students who are currently working at big companies. I go to their profiles and I go to the experiences section to find the companies that they have worked at in the past. And then I find the page of the company and then I reach out to them. Now, this approach of trying to find companies where you might be able to work works better, I think, rather than just applying to multiple places. Because first thing, you already know that they hire international students. Because of the policies in the US right now, a lot of companies have come out and said that they are not going to hire international students at all. They even put it on the description. You must be authorized to work in the US without any sponsorship. And they don't even take the time to find out that for an internship, they don't really have to sponsor anything, that your university or your college grants you a CPT that gives you the permission to work. But a lot of companies don't even know that, right? So they don't even bother to try to figure out how things actually work. But the companies that have already hired international students in the past would be more likely to give you a shot, to give you an interview. So let's say you were able to find some connections, or let's say you were able to find companies where you might reach out and they have asked you to send you your resume. So what do? One approach that I used to take in the past was just using the same resume for everything, but that is not the right thing to do. That is not the smart thing to do. You have to have your resume customized. Now you could definitely use something like Claude Code or ChatGPT to do that, but it does not really work that well. The reason being, you would have to copy and paste every single thing for every single time. One of the tools that I have used, and it is a free tool, is called getnewresume.com. It allows you to create personalized resumes according to the job description. So you just go to the website, you put in your resume that you have, and then you give it the job description that you have, and that website will automatically do all the work, in the sense it will rewrite all the bullet points, it will organize the experiences as they should be, it will give you recommendations to add certain things, it will also give you a ATS score, and it will also allow you to research the company if you wanted to, and all of that is free, which is amazing. So use that tool for the resume. So that's the resume. Let's say with your resume, you were able to get an interview. If you want me to make a video about how to do well in your interview, let me know. But a thing that you should definitely do is just try to get your foot into the door. What I mean by that is, don't try to make the first internship that you get the best one. Once you do get your first experience, it's going to be a lot easier to get something else. The reason that companies don't try to hire somebody who has not worked before is because onboarding cost is a lot, in the sense they would have to train that person, that intern, from the beginning with every single thing, and that would take a lot of resources for the company. So usually companies prefer somebody who has already worked in the industry, who already knows how corporate works or how things work in, I don't know, like work life. Now, these are some things that could work. But what you should also remember is, you will eventually find something. What you do have to do is try to be strategic. Absolutely do not treat this like a numbers game. Applying to hundreds of places will not give you anything at all. What does work? Building connections, trying to be as strategic as you can when trying to find companies, reaching out to them, personalizing the messages that you send, and when you are using your resume, make it personalized as much as you can. You could use any of the AI tools. And then just remember that things do eventually get better, but also remember that because of everything that is happening right now, it is very important, more than ever, to not be very basic in terms of the skills that you have. Right now, everybody is using AI for every single thing, but I think that may be a problem for a lot of people, in the sense they're not really improving their skill set or their problem solving abilities. But that also, I think, is a unfair advantage that you could develop, in the sense, if you take the time to learn those skills, if you take the time to be able to understand things or debug things, or be able to understand code bases if you are a CS major, that will set you apart, and that will take you a lot further than anybody else, right? So yeah, that is it for this video. It's almost time to get back to my internship. I will see you in the next video. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you later. Bye.